Hey, it's Jillian from Body You Crave, and today we are going to talk about the dreaded willpower, right? And it's something that we think we need more of, but the reality is willpower has fuck all to do with losing weight. So, what d- what is it then, right? Because a lot of times we think that it is willpower. I don't have enough willpower. So if it's not willpower, well then why is it that I can't resist these foods? What's going on? Why is it that I have these cravings? Why can't I just kick this habit? Why can't I replace it with something new? And the reason is that we're focused on tactics. We're always looking at how can I swap this for that? How can I just simply replace this with this instead, right? And it's a very surface layer way of looking at it, rather than going to what is the deeper reason and understanding as to why we reach for certain foods, right? Because it has nothing to do with willpower. It's not just about being able to resist it, to be able to grit your teeth or grit your hands and just white knuckle through it, right? And that's not what we should be doing when it comes to certain food. We shouldn't have to do that when we're grocery shopping because we've developed a healthy relationship to food. We shouldn't have to do that at a party. We shouldn't have to do that at like a Super Bowl party, for example, right? It should be very easy. We should be very intentional. And the key here is that we most often are too strict with ourselves when we go on these diets, right? We are trying to be on 95% of the time and off maybe 5%. Maybe we'll give ourselves a little grace room. Sometimes we're 100. We want to be fully on. Perfection is the ultimate goal and there is no other way. And that becomes an issue because when we're so strict and we're so regimented, eventually that wanes. Right? And it comes out in different ways, whether that's a paleo protein brownie or a low carb treat or a low carb protein bar or whatever, right? We want to find ways around the system where we can enjoy the foods that we love while still not cheating as bad, maybe. And what we find though is that like sometimes these paleo brownies have like 500 calories and 30 grams of fat and how much sugar, and like it's just as bad as a normal brownie, right? It has maybe some better ingredients, but really it's not any better than just a regular brownie. But we think it's great because of the label that we've put on it. And so we're so strict and we're thinking we have to follow these labels because that's what dictates what's healthy, and that we don't actually create a lifestyle that we can love, that we can enjoy. So if I told you that your diet in January had to last you for the rest of your life, how'd you feel? You might kind of freak out, right? Like I'm sure a lot of us would be like, oh shit, that sounds terrible. and or like, I don't want to give this up forever. I want to give it up for a few months or a few weeks, but I really don't want to give this up for the rest of my life. And that's key, right? Then don't give it up. Don't give it up until you're ready to. I'm not ready to give up Power Crunch bars or Quest bars. I still enjoy them. I like them. Is it a whole food? No, it's not. It's totally not. But the goal here is to eat more whole foods, and better is always better. Okay, that's my philosophy around food. Better is always better. We're always just trying to take one step in the right direction and let's just get better. But we have to have the mentality that it's not an all or nothing. It's not that we have to be 100% perfect all the time. Can we be 70-30 and still achieve our goals? I think the answer is yes. And I think actually that kind of relieves us of the need to have a cheat day or to have a cheat meal, because it's now just a part of life. I don't have to feel guilty about digging into the freezer for ice cream because it's okay. It's allowed. I can have it every week if I want it because I've developed this healthy relationship to food. And the way that I've done that is I've done the work that's going to get me to that place. I've already uncovered the emotional, psychological, social triggers as to why I'm turning to food and why I'm turning to those foods in particular at those times of day. Right, but you have to do the work first. There is some work to do, right? It's not work in the gym. It's more mental work, right? It's looking at, well, why do I think that this food is going to, help with a need or a desire? What is that desire? Are you really happy and satisfied in your marriage or in your relationship or in your job or with your kids or your home life or whatever, right? And those can be some challenging questions. Like what's not working? That's what we really need to uncover. That is the work. It's more of a reflection on what's going on internally. And I think here's where body image can really come and play a role, because we that's something that we struggle with so much. I was actually just talking to the pastor's wife about that this weekend, was this issue that women as a whole, we struggle more with worthiness, just as a blanket statement, with worthiness and being enough. We have a really hard time just being enough in ourselves. And it's really easy to think that if we lose the weight, or if we look a certain way, or we're a certain size, that then we'll be enough, that then we'll be happy. But that's not what it's about. We have to learn how we can be happy where we are right now, even in the midst of wanting to change it. Because just wanting to lose weight is not a bad thing. It's not. For me, it was a bad thing, or I feel like it was troublesome, because I spent years always wanting to lose 5 pounds. Didn't matter how much I weighed, what size I was. It was just always, I wanted to lean out. I just want to lose 5 pounds. And it was fucking exhausting. I could not take it anymore. I was so tired of hating my body and being so perfectionistic around it and never being good enough. I had a breaking point where I was just like, this has got to end. Okay, but wanting to lose weight, wanting to be healthier, to work out more, to move your body more, to have more fun, to have more enjoyment and pleasure and, excitement in your life, to have more adventure, like, that's not a bad thing. And it's not a problem. I'm not trying to shame you if you do want to lose weight, because there might be some genuine reasons why, and that's okay. But we need to look at that. Why is it that we want to lose weight? What is the underlying reason? What's the underlying motivation before we even get to the point of how much we're eating and what we're eating and why we're eating, all of these different aspects. And when we can uncover those, willpower is no longer an issue, because we understand what that psychological issue is. Now, there are going to be physical reasons as to maybe why we feel like we don't have as much willpower. Sleep, hydration, stabilizing blood sugar, regulating your body and when you eat, those can play a really big impact with cravings and things like willpower. But there are also emotional reasons why willpower is just not enough. Why, despite doing all of the right things, we still are craving chocolate or candy or sweets or salty foods or fat or peanut butter or nuts or popcorn or whatever it is, right? I'm like naming off all of my foods that I love and have had kind of negative relationships with in the past. But that's not it. It's not just about the food. It's about what's underneath it. What are we trying to solve? What state are we trying to get out of? Or what state are we trying to get into? How is it that we think this food is going to make us feel? That's what the food is all there for, right? So it's not about the food. It's not about the weight. It's not about the number on a scale. It's about our happiness and why we think that's going to make us happy. And it's about feeling something, or it's about getting out of that feeling. It's about getting out of your pain, not feeling the pain, blocking it. And so that's why, though, that, like, taking this all back to willpower, that's why willpower is not an issue. Not when we have a healthy relationship to food, not when we're on a 70-30 plan and it's just a general, like, kind of in and out. It's just a flow. Food is not good or bad. We don't moralize food. We don't moralize ourselves for what we eat. It's just there. It's part of life, right? Because we have to eat. And so one way that you might want to tackle this is to kind of have a bank account kind of philosophy, or a savings account. So for every good food that you eat, and I guess I shouldn't say good, but for every like whole food that you eat that nourishes your body, that's going to go into your savings. Okay, so we're going to spend from our savings, right? Because if you've ever saved for a house or for a car or to pay off, for me, it was like paying off my student loans. I still wanted to spend a little bit. I wanted to enjoy my life while still saving up to pay off this debt. Same thing is true for how we eat. We want to save, so we want to eat and fill up with good foods, but we also know that we're going to eat some maybe quote bad foods, right? We're going to eat the ice cream. We're going to drink the wine. We're going to have things that maybe aren't just a whole real food all the time, because that's real life. Because having the body you crave doesn't mean shit if you don't have a life that you love. You have to love your life. You have to, right? It's too short. It's too precious to just waste being obsessed with food and exercise and your body all the time. Like, I've wasted so much time, and I can forgive myself for that, and I can move on. But I feel like, like I wasted so much time obsessing and worrying over all of these things. And I look back at pictures and I'm like, I didn't look that bad at all. Hey, damn, I look pretty good right there. And at the time though, I'm like, can't give up one day of running in Thailand because I'm so terrified of what would happen if I stopped. So, I mean, these issues are real, but you're not alone, right? We all struggle with them. Women as a whole, I think 80% of women all struggle with them. We all have body image issues. And a lot of men do too. And it's okay. And this is a place though where you can get help. So if you feel like this had spoken to you, if you feel like maybe you could use a little extra help, a little extra nudge, then I'd love to have a breakthrough session with you. So I do these Tuesday and Thursdays, and it's just 45 minutes, but it's a chance for you to really get a clear understanding about your relationship to food and why you're turning to that, your relationship to your body and why it is that way. What is the trigger? What's the number one block and the number one key issue as to why you're feeling this way and what might be keeping you stuck. So if you feel like that's for you, head on over to jillianlomach.com/breakthrough. I'll post the link below in the bottom. If you found this video useful, share it, like it, tag a friend, share it with somebody who needs it, right? Because I think we all need to hear this kind of message that's uplifting and really can be body positive without, while still keeping a healthy mentality around it all, right? So hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.